Hi, my name is Glenn, and today I'd like to pitch to you the idea behind my Indiegogo campaign for the first CD in a series of albums of simple, calming music, as I call it. Music that is light enough to help you relax while still containing enough detail for your brain to remain engaged and not fly off in 1,000 directions. Now, the idea behind simple, calming music came to me through conversations with my friend and colleague Kimspirational, a certified angel therapist through Doreen Virtue, who, with my help, was able to release her first album. Yes, yes, yes. And this album was, well, basically recorded by myself, and her voice was recorded on my system. I did the mixing, I got it mastered, and you also see my name down there on the CD. I'm the guy who played all the music on this album. And now, the music on the Yes 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 album is pretty much a precursor to what became simple calming music. And it was through a suggestion from Kimspirational, who said that I should look into recording music based on dolphins and whales that started off this whole project. Now, the whole album was recorded in a semi-secluded area, a small cabin near the seashore at my favorite campground and beach that ever since I was a kid, I've loved that place, close to home. And this little cabin was, well, hardly had anything in it. Maybe a mattress on a bed, a table, and wall outlets to plug equipment in. And it was in that cabin that I dressed up pretty much as I'm dressed right now. I'm wearing the clothes that I wore. Of course, it was summertime, so I could dress a little lightly. And even have a bottle of what I was drinking at the time, lavender mint herbal water, that I often had a bottle around me to help me focus and refresh me in a way. And let me just take a swig. I'm getting myself back in the zone from when I was recording this, in the hope that I might remember even more detail and share it with you through this pitch video. But basically, that tenting cabin, as they call it, was where I recorded every last note of the album. I started back in the month of August, right in the heart of summer, and I arrived there pretty burnt out from work and other things, with just the simple idea to record music. And so most of my mental constructs were not operational at all. And in that case, all that remained was reflexes, intuition, and I think they served me well. Because, the first track I did at this tenting cabin, which was located in, well, like I said, close to the seashore, near the woods as well, so great scenery on both parts. The first track I did, I didn't even know I was going to record. I was just going through patches on my keyboard to see what sound I wanted to use for another project that I was doing simultaneously, when all of a sudden, here came a patch called Tree of Life. I started playing around with it, and something told me just to start my recorder. And so I did, and for the next 6 minutes, I just played. And that track, per se, is exactly as I recorded it. What you're hearing is one take, no overdubs on that one. I became a bit more elaborate for other pieces. In fact, the next piece I did, which was on the whale, I started just doing ocean sounds and following that up with trying to simulate whale song, both the high-pitched notes and the low-pitched notes. And from there, slowly built up what became that 20-minute track. Combination of melody, chords, and ocean sounds. And through those two pieces, I basically started off the Inner Contacts CD And within the next few weeks, I recorded the Dolphin track. And soon after, I received inspiration to do tracks on the Dragonfly, for example. I was in a natural setting. To be honest, I was caddying for a PGA Junior Golf tournament when everywhere, every time I turned around, there were dragonflies buzzing in pairs. Red, blue, green. I think I even saw an orange and a purple one. And finally, at one point, it just dawned on me. And I just said out loud, okay, fine. I will record a meditation on dragonflies. And surprisingly enough, they must have been pleased because I never saw a dragonfly again for the rest of the weekend. But the idea was there, and I recorded the Dragonfly track. And also, seagulls tended to be hanging around the tenting cabin. Maybe no more than one. But it was almost as if there was always a seagull around, just keeping an eye on what I was doing. And finally I thought, okay, fine, I'll do a track on the seagull as well. Now, where I got the idea as to what key I would play these pieces, well, the Tree of Life itself was in the key of G mostly, and I think that trickled back from my work on the Kimspirational CD, Yes, 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 where most of the pieces were in the key of G, in honor of, as Kimspirational put it, Archangel Michael. And for this CD, so Tree of Life was in the key of G, but for the rest of the pieces, I wanted to go a bit more detailed as to a clear reason between the object of the piece, namely the animal, and my choice of key. And so, looking into the calls of both the dolphin and the whale, I found that the frequencies that were listed online on the internet for their calls, when multiplied sufficiently to bring into the audible vocal range of the human being, or a piano keyboard as the case may be, it always came back to the key of C. So for the dolphin, key of C, the whale, the key of C as well. For the dragonfly, I found out that the frequencies between which, different dragonflies would beat their wings came to a range between F sharp and, once again, C. So that not only gave me the key of that piece, but also gave me a range of chords that I could work with, from F sharp to A, being the middle of the two, to C, and certain keys around that. Certain chords, I should say. For the seagull, I just decided, you know what? Let's just do another one on the key of C as well. And all of these were, in a way, connected through a different idea as well. Namely, when I did a bit of hunting on the internet, I found out that all four animals are reputed through folklore to connect humans to the spirit world. Well, I won't claim that my music does that, but it's a pretty nifty idea that all four animals appeared like that on one CD. And I've recorded the whole music, obviously, if I can be talking about every piece this way. It's been mixed. It's been mastered, an essential step for a CD to sound decently loud in your system and sound balanced. And now all that remains is the manufacturing. And this is where I'd like your help. If I can raise the funds, the remaining required funds, to produce 500 copies of this CD, so $800 should cover the basis to complete the funding required. I can do the artwork. As you've seen on the Yes, Yes, Yes CD, I did the layout, or I should say, I did layout for that album, and that's just one of many albums that I've worked on. So I have the experience to do that. But the manufacturing, I cannot physically manufacture 500 CDs, and I don't want to burn 500 CDR copies. For this first project of Simple Calming Music, I want it as professional and as physical as possible. So that's where I would like to produce a CD version, a physical CD copy of the Inner Contacts album, Instrumental Meditations on Dolphin, Whale, Dragonfly, and Seagull. And it will also be available digitally, and you'll see all this in the perks. Depending on the amount that you pay, that you contribute, I should say. You can either earn a copy of the CD itself or a digital version of the album in either MP3 or WAV or FLAC, or other formats may be available. Just let me know and I'll see if I can get them for you. You can also get digital copies of previous albums, and in many of the cases I throw in the instrumental versions of the pieces you find on the Yes 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 album, as Conspirational was kind enough to let me retain ownership of the instrumental versions of the pieces, meaning the ones without her voice, without her guided meditations. So those would be the ones that are included. You won't hear the guided meditations Conspirational did in the perks, because that's hers. She owns that. But all in all, to wrap this up, all that remains for this project to become a reality is to gather the funds, hopefully through this Indiegogo campaign, and manufacture the CD. And then CD exists completely for sale, for distribution, for promotion. And ultimately, my hope is this CD will lead to future albums of simple, calming music. And if you like this music, which you can hear on the link in the Indiegogo campaign, well, I'm willing to do more albums like this if the interest is there, and if I can cover at least my expenses with this. From there, I thank you very much for your time, and well, God bless you. Have a good one.